What's up, Trilogy Tribe? My name is Benny Lake, and thank you for tuning in. Well, my full name is Benjamin Charles William Lake Jr. I'm actually named after my dad, extremely British. I was actually originally born in Fairfax. 13 or 12, I moved to New York. It's kind of where I grew up. It's mostly what I remember. What really inspired me to do music was just that, wanting to vent. Inspiration goes back a long way though, starting with my godfather actually. He was in a band in the 90s called the Wildcard Band. And he did mostly like classic rock, like ZZ Top, Santana, we had the Beatles. One of my ex-girlfriends, which we'll talk about that another time, put me onto the Arctic Monkeys. I just remember listening to them. AM had just came out. I just remember being mesmerized by listening to, like, I guess what we called indie rock back then. That was like the first bit of like, oh, that's what I want to do, you know? And so ever since then, I kind of just took this whole deep dive into the psychedelic rock, indie rock, you know, pop stuff, and then Tame Impala came around, and then The Neighborhood came around, and those are really the big three that went into inspiring this album, You Are in a Dream. And then of course with the co-producer right here, you get, you know, so he's mentioned Kid Cudi a few times, Radiohead, you know, so a lot of those mixing influences. The guy who actually came up with the album name or introduced it would be this gentleman right here. He was like, I think we should call the album You Are in a Dream. Because I remember after one of our sessions, it was like a 5-hour session, he said, I want you to go home and listen to the album and like think of any line from any lyric in any of the songs that are on this album and think what could be the, like, that title name for the album. And I had no idea. And then he comes back to the next session going, I think you should call it You Are in a Dream. And so I switched that around in my head, and I think it took maybe 10 seconds, and I was like, yeah, that's the name. We are always listening to something different right before the session. Like before Rain and I get together, we'll go in the car and we'll listen to music. So I think a lot of what determined the effects we went with that day, or like the leads he put on the tracks that day, were just determined by what did we listen to before we came to the studio, you know, right then and there. I think we're always exploring just as artists. I hate that guy. I can't stand that guy. No, I'm totally kidding, dude. Randy is one of the dopest people I've ever met. He texted me saying, hey, you know, you can book with Aaron again, that's fine, but we do have another engineer here. His name's Randy. He's really good with your style, you know, the psychedelic indie stuff. And I was like, hell yeah, you know, let me meet the guy, let me check him out. And I listened to, he had Breaking News out at the time, and I listened to that in the car ride, and I was just like, yeah, this is the guy. This is the guy I need to be put on to. And yeah, no, ever since then to now, I look at Randy like one of my best friends. Randy's the type of guy who will go the extra mile for you. I just remember him, like sometimes I'd pull up to sessions, he'd already have the session up going, hey man, I was playing with this, please, you know, I didn't save anything, but just check it out, you know, like he's just that kind of guy. And that's what I really appreciate about him. I mean, there's a reason you won Best Studio in DC 3 years in a row. Let's just say that. I mean, you have the best engineer in Trilogy sitting right here, you know. Aaron is great. Aaron's one of the nicest people I've ever met, and he's so smart. He listens to music differently. I think that's the main thing here. A lot of the people here listen to music differently than normal people listen to music. Like, you're listening to vibrations, and like we're just listening to this. Oh, it sounds good, good melody, good bass line, you know. But you guys are listening to things like more individually, and you know, making it so it's just like sonically perfect, and that is like your best trait. I would just say, just get out there and find your sound. You know, what you enjoy listening to is most likely what you're going to enjoy creating. Definitely just hone your own sound, find it, and stick to it. Everything you do it with confidence, which I'm still learning how to do myself. You know, we all have such a long way to come with that, but yeah, just try to be better every day.